Hello everyone, my name is Américo and I'm here to present this work which was done in collaboration with my advisor Pasquale Malacaria. So first, a brief introduction and some preliminaries. We have a secret X which is modeled as a random variable and is fed to a system K. There is an adversary that wishes to obtain information about X and has some prior knowledge which model as the probability distribution over the random variable. The system produces an output according to some conditional probability that's intrinsic from the system, and the knowledge of the adversary is updated to the conditional of x given y after he observes the variable output by the system. Quantitative information flow is the field of research that aims at quantifying how much information systems leak. For that we use entropies. Entropy is a quantity measuring uncertainty about the secret that has two forms: an unconditional form, which measures uncertainty at the input, and a conditional form that will measure uncertainty when the output is given. By subtracting the second from the first, we obtain the information leakage. Different functions for the unconditional form reflect different attack scenarios. For example, mean entropy is very good for quantifying uncertainty when the attacker has only one shot for guessing the secret right. Guessing entropy is very good for brute force scenarios, and channel entropy will reflect the expected number of yes or no questions one needs to arrive at the value of the secret. And there are many more possibilities that one can choose from. Moreover, given an unconditional form, there are different ways of obtaining a conditional form depending on the scenario at hand. One way is averaging, in which you just get the expected leakage of the system according to the probability on the outputs. And a second one is minimum, in which we're more interested in the worst case scenario, that is, in quantifying the leakage in the worst possible case. With so many different choices for unconditional and conditional forms, there are a lot of entropies that we can build. A natural question thus is which of those entropies make sense, that is, which of those behave like entropy should behave. To solve this problem, Alvim et al. Considering the following intuitively reasonable properties. Conditioning reduces entropy, which says that after the output is given to the adversary, the uncertainty about the secret does not increase. And data processing inequality, or DPI, that just says that by post-processing the output of the system by another system, you will not further reduce uncertainty. Alvim et al. Proved the following. If the conditional form of H is averaging, then H satisfies DPI and CRE if and only if the unconditional form of H is concave over P of x. And they proved a similar statement, substituting minimum for averaging and quasi-concave for concave. This then characterizes two important families of entropies that respect the intuitively reasonable properties. Those are the ones that satisfy the averaging and concavity, which we'll call CAVG, and the ones that satisfy minimum and quasi-concavity, which we'll call Qmin. However, many entropies in the literature are not in either family. For example, mean entropy with the conventional conditional form does not satisfy averaging or minimum. In a recent work with collaboration with M.H.R. Cusani, we extended these results from Alvim et al. In our work, entropies are given as pairs eta f, such that eta is increasing and the unconditional form is given by the composition of eta and f. Note that any function can be described this way, so any unconditional form can be described this way by taking eta as identity, so this is not restrictive at all. We say that eta f satisfies core-concavity if f is concave over P of x, and we say that it satisfies eta averaging if the conditional form is given in this way. So you can see that by taking eta as identity, this generalizes the averaging property. We then obtained an extension of Alvim et al.'s result by proving that if an entropy satisfies eta averaging, then it will satisfy the intuitively reasonable properties if and only if it's core-concave. We denote the family of entropies satisfying eta averaging and core-concave cavity by HEAVG, and notice that CAVG is a subset of HEAVG by taking the eta to be the identity function. We are now ready to move to the main subject of this work, that are limit entropies. So, as we said, entropies in Keith are now divided in two distinct families. The ones in HEAVG, that we call core-concave entropies as well, and the ones in QMIN, that we also call worst-case entropies. Could we find some generalizing definition that includes both families? Well, the answer is yes, indeed we can. We do that by considering sequences of core-concaves such that the unconditional form converges uniformly. We define the limit of such sequences to be the entropy such that the unconditional form is the limit of the unconditional forms, and the conditional forms is the limit superior of the conditional forms. The limit superior is necessary as the limit may not exist. We denote by Q the set of all limits of sequences of entropies in HEAVG, and we call those entropies limit entropies. Our main result is this theorem that says that all core-concave entropies and all worst-case scenario entropies are also limit entropies. It's easy to see that core-concave entropies are limit entropies. We just need to take constant sequences in HEAVG. However, proving that for the worst-case entropies is a bit more tricky. The first obstacle is that, in general, for a quasi-concave unconditional form, there is no eta f such that H would be eta f and f is concave. This was first discovered by Bruno De Finetti in the 40s, motivated by a study of utility functions in microeconomics. Thankfully, in a recent result, Connell and Rasmussen proved that any quasi-concave function is the limit of a uniformly convergent sequence of core-concaves. Moreover, in the work in which we extended Alvim et al.'s results, we also proved that given any eta f that's core-concave, there is a sequence of core-concaves such that the limit of the conditional forms of that sequence tends to the worst-case scenario for eta f. By combining these results, we are able to prove that, indeed, worst-case entropies are limit entropies. We will now present some applications of this result. The first one is that many properties of core-concave entropies can be straightforwardly generalized to limit entropies. So all entropies in Q satisfy CRE and DPI, the intuitively reasonable properties. Moreover, all symmetric and expansible entropies in Q satisfy some interesting information theoretical properties. Additional information increases entropy, that is, a joint random variable has more entropy than one of its marginals. A weaker form of subadditivity is a property for Shannon entropy. Shannon's perfect secrecy, that relates the entropy of messages and keys in a symmetric encryption scheme, and also bounding terms of probability of error that generalizes the famous Fanus inequality, which is very important in information theory. Besides generalizing entropies that satisfy minimum or eta averaging, limit entropies also subsume other conditional forms. We say that an entropy eta f satisfies eta geometric mean if its conditional form is given as follows. This form is analogous to the eta averaging, but with the weighted geometric mean. So we have this result that says that if an entropy satisfies eta geometric mean, core-concavity, and if f is non-negative, we have that this entropy is a limit entropy. Now, these core-concave and eta geometric mean entropies have never been considered in Keith. However, our results guarantee that they satisfy CRE, DPI, and all the other information theoretical inequalities that we presented before. So, to conclude, in this work, we introduced a new generalizing family of limit entropies, which subsume the core-concave and worst-case scenario entropies that were used so far in the Keith literature. We established that limit entropies satisfy CRE, DPI, and other important information theoretic properties. We also derived a new subfamily inspired on the geometric mean. And this is something that unfortunately I didn't have time to present today, but we also investigated some applications of limit entropies on channel orderings, making connections with some recent results from Chatzikolakis et al. Now, concerning future work, most key results concern entropies in CAVG. Is it possible to generalize this to limit entropies, which will, as a consequence, have the worst-case scenario entropies as a particular case? And we would also like to investigate whether there are other families with interesting conditional forms that we could derive from Q. So that's all. Thank you very much for your attention.